Who likes chess club? We do! We like chess club, we like chess club, we like chess club, we like chess club, we like chess club.
Hi everyone, I'm Bruce, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys about the basics of chess. So in chess, the chessboard has 64 squares in total, so it's 8 by 8. Each player starts off with 16 pieces, so that's 8 pawns, 2 rooks, 2 knights, 2 bishops, 1 queen, and 1 king. And the opponent also starts off with that many pieces. So in chess, the player with the white pieces always moves first, and each piece in chess moves differently. So firstly we have the pawn. So the pawn starts on any one of these squares on the second rank. So if the pawn is on the second rank, it can move either one square or it can move 2 squares at once, so in one turn. Once it is no longer on the second rank, once it has moved already, it can only move 1 square forward at a time. When the pawn reaches the end of the board, it promotes into one of the other pieces. So you can turn the pawn into a bishop. You can also turn the pawn into a knight, rook, or a queen, but you cannot turn the pawn into another king. The pawn captures diagonally, so if your pawn is here and there's an opponent's piece on this square, the pawn can capture it. But if the other piece is directly in front of it, you cannot capture the other piece. So that would not be a legal move. So next we have the bishop. The bishop moves diagonally like this, as many squares at a time as it wants. And since it moves on diagonals, it can only move on the squares of the same color. So since this bishop started on a white square, it will always be on the white square and it can never move onto one of the green squares. The bishop also captures other pieces the same way that it moves. So if there's a knight here and a bishop here, the bishop can capture the knight. Next we have the rook. So the rook moves in straight lines, so either up and down as many squares at a time as it wants, or left and right, also as many squares at a time as it wants. It also captures the same way, so if your rook is here and the knight is here, the opponent's knight is here, then you can capture the opponent's knight with your rook. Next we have the queen. So the queen can move up and down, left and right, just like a rook, and it can also move like a bishop in diagonals. And it also captures pieces in the same way. So if there's a knight here, you can capture it. If there's a knight here, you can capture it. And finally we have the king. So the king moves in the same way as the queen. It can move to any of these squares. And it also captures pieces in the same way. So if we have a king here and an enemy knight here, we can move here and capture the knight. If your king is under attack, then you have to move it, because this is called check. So you have to move the king out of the way, or if you have another piece, you can block the check, or if you have a piece that can capture the attacking piece. So you always have to get out of check. And the way that one person wins the game is if the other person it is in check but has no way of getting out of check. So an example would be something like this, because the rook is attacking the king, but the king has no way of escaping since it cannot capture its own pieces.
The following program was brought to you by the Woodlands Chess Club. Join our Discord server by typing this link into your web browser. As always, from the Woodlands Chess Club to you all, have a good day.